Hey, what's going on, West Michigan? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we're going to go over exactly what you need to know to maximize the profit when selling your house. So make sure you stay tuned. So the very first thing we need to understand when going to sell your house is we need to understand the local market. Are we in a buyer's market? Are we in a seller's market? Do you understand the difference between the two? I'll explain them real quick. A buyer's market means the market is currently favorable for a buyer. So if you see a ton of houses out on the market, you've got a ton to choose from, which has been a long time since we had a ton to choose from. That is a buyer's market. Right now, we are currently still in the beginning of 2023. We're still technically in a seller's market because the inventory is not even a month of inventory, meaning it would take less than a month to run out of houses if we sold them all. So you need to understand which one we're in to maximize your profit, because if we're in a buyer's market, chances are you're probably not going to get quite as much for your house because there's a bunch of houses out there, meaning demand is lower than what the supply is. Right now, when we don't have any inventory anywhere to be seen realistically, we are still very much in a seller's market. The other thing you need to understand is, are prices appreciating in your marketplace? Right now in February of 2023, house appreciation has slowed down. As we go into the springtime, the house appreciation, I'm seeing it go back up, but we actually saw a stopping point and the house appreciation actually came down a little bit in November of last year during the time when all the interest rates started to spike up. We actually saw a level off of the market. So realistically, for this point, reach out to a local lender or myself. If you're curious about your local market here in West Michigan, do not hesitate to reach out to me. I can let you know exactly where you guys are sitting. So the next point I want to make is choosing the right time to sell your property. There's a couple different things I want to talk about here. Number one, of course, the seasonality of the housing market, unless you're in Florida or one of the warmer states where it's just warm all the time. The market tends to ebb and flow with the changing seasons. So here in West Michigan, wintertime is notoriously going to be a slower time to buy and sell a house. Springtime, everybody's excited. You know, the sun's out. We're not white anymore. It's not gray all the time. You know, people are excited. They want to be outside. So we always see a spike in inventory and a spike in house sales during the springtime. Summertime, beginning of summer, like the first half of summer, it's still really strong. We usually start to slow down towards the beginning of, towards the middle of August or so, especially when school starts up. We tend to see a slowdown in the market because people want to be in their houses before school starts and want to get their kiddos started at school. So a lot of the people that are out buying at that time are young professionals or, maybe people looking to downsize because they don't have kids in school. So it's not really a big deal to them. So the other thing to think about here is, how long have you been in your house before you're going to sell it? If it is really important to you to maximize the amount of a home appreciation, get the most amount of money for your house, being in your house longer than a year or two is recommended. Up to 5 years is typically when we see the most amount of good appreciation for somebody to be able to move on to the next house and carry a bunch of equity to that new house. So how long have you been in your house? Throw it down in the comment section. So knowing those factors will be able to dictate when the right time to sell is going to be. All right, so the next point, we need to set the price perfectly. This one's super important. I have tried a bunch of different ways, depending on what my sellers wanted. And what I have stuck with is pricing it properly to begin with. I know a lot of people have this notation in their head that, oh, hey, if we start high, people can just knock us down, kind of like we do with cars. It does not work this way in the housing industry. When you price a property too high, people are not even going to want to see it, especially when we've had nothing but multiple offers recently. So pretty much everybody's still accustomed to having to price, go over list price in order to win houses. So if we price it too high, a lot of people are not even going to take a chance to look at it because they're like, well, there's no way I'm going over on that house. It already seems like it's too expensive, and they just won't even come look at it. Now, if we price it way too low, that's also a problem because, yeah, we'll probably get a bidding war because people are going to be like, holy cow, look at that deal. But chances are we're probably going to end up losing a little money on that because we're not even going to probably get back to where market value actually is if we price it too low. So my recommendation usually is we price it anywhere from 4 to 5% below the market value. And this will drive in the buyers. It will not be the overpriced house on the market, and it's not going to be so severely under list price that we can't get up to where the market value is. Now, let's say an offer comes in and maybe this backfires on us and we don't get offers up to what the actual market value is. You can always say no to an offer. So that's why I recommend starting a little bit low so that we can bring the amount of buyers in and try and get a bidding war if we can, if you're a seller. Now, if you're curious where your current home value is sitting and where your equity is sitting, down in the description, I do have a home evaluation link there. It will go to my website. I will get notified that you guys did it. I just asked that fill out your information in there. If you want to know what your home value is, I'll have no problem to do a specific CMA for you, custom market analysis. Sorry, we can't use realtor term on here. Custom market analysis, so you know exactly how much equity is in your house so you can make an educated decision on selling your house. This next one, you really need to understand exactly how much it actually costs to sell your house. So I'm going to go over a real quick diagram here with you to show you kind of an example. So as you can see here, this is assuming a $200,000 sale price of a house. So really understanding all the possible things that you could have coming into selling a house. So sometimes you're going to have staging costs. I'm really good at helping you understand what needs to be staged. Sometimes I will pull a stager in, but my VIP package is going to usually include a stager, especially, if I think that it needs it. Home renovation, home repairs and renovation. This one is typically going to be on you guys. You ask me to come to your house, I'm going to recommend paint, flooring options. Sometimes I'll recommend remodeling a bathroom. Just depends on where your house is at, especially when we're moving into this new market. We have to make sure that we are paying attention to how nice the house is. How new does that house look? Because if it's super outdated, those houses right now in the beginning of 2023 are sitting a lot longer than the house that is really nicely updated and really clean. Obviously, this is the one that most people fixate on, is the real estate commissions. 6%. It varies from different ranges. I have a tiered package for my listings so that it covers some of the stuff that I do, because I do a lot for my VIP package, which if you guys are curious what that is, I can definitely let you know what that is. Factor in seller concessions. Right now, moving into this new market, we are seeing a lot of seller concessions again. So there is a chance that the buyers might ask for seller concessions on selling the house, especially in these lower price ranges. A lot of times, these are the first-time home buyer price ranges, and these are going to be the price ranges that are typically asking for those seller concessions. So make sure that we factor that in. Closing costs for title fee and all of that stuff. If you've got moving costs, if you're moving in here from out of state, or if you are planning on hiring a mover, which I do have a mover I can recommend to you here in West Michigan that did a fabulous job helping my wife and I move. Oh my gosh, hands down, I will always use a mover when we move again, because that is one of the most stressful parts of moving, is packing everything up and moving everything out, disassembling the beds. This mover was amazing. They literally disassembled, and we have toddlers, okay? So the toddler beds. They come in a million pieces. When you get that stuff from Amazon or wherever you bought it online, you look, okay, that big bed is in that little tiny box. Yeah, they took it apart, moved it to our new house, put everything back together. They even put the TVs on the wall. So that is well worth the money, in my opinion. But you can see the total cost for this particular transaction, because they had some extras in here, ended up being 16.5% of sales price. So that's what I mean. Really understand that stuff. One thing that I do for my clients is I always get you a net sheet. We go over all of this stuff together, because the last thing that I want to happen to you is for you not to understand exactly what fees you're going to have going to close that house. Funny story, when we sold our first house, we didn't know any of this stuff. Our real estate agent didn't tell us anything. I didn't even know about real estate commissions. We just signed stuff because we didn't know what we were doing. And the agent didn't tell me any of the cost until the very end. We get to the end of closing, and all of a sudden, I'm like, holy cow, I was planning on getting this much. There's a lot of money coming out for this stuff. And she's like, yeah, you got to pay money to sell a house. Oh, well, you didn't tell me that. I had no idea. So we ended up getting a lot less than we were expecting for our house, just because we didn't understand up front. Had she told me up front, I probably would have been like, okay, yeah, I understand it takes money to sell a house and it is what it is. So I do not want to do that to my clients. So I am very, very transparent with you, and I will get you a full breakdown price sheet of everything on both sides. On the buying side, so you understand the cost of buying and you understand the cost of selling. I know I spent a little bit of extra time on this section, but it's a big section because obviously this is one of the biggest transactions of your life. I want to make sure it's done properly, and I want to make sure that you feel safe. So the next one, determine how you're going to sell the house, meaning there is more than one way to sell a house. You can hire me, the professional real estate agent, to come in and sell your house. This one is very hands-off for you. You know, we're going to take care of all of the paperwork. We're going to take care of helping you stage the house. We're going to get you professional photography. I do professional videos and I run ads. There's so much stuff I do for my VIP clients. So that's one way. Another way is for sale by owner. I'm sure you have heard of it. This one, you do everything by yourself. You pull the title work, like all of that stuff you're going to do on your own, and there's a ton of steps. If you are curious about selling for sale by owner, I usually have a conversation with people and kind of let them know everything that I do, and then they can make an educated decision on whether or not they want to tackle doing for sale by owner. And I have helped quite a few for sale by owners sell their properties and end up getting them quite a bit more money for their house because they were actually not selling it for the proper pricing either. So for sale by owner can work, especially maybe you were a realtor at one point in your life and you know what you're doing on that. Maybe you don't hold a license anymore and you want to sell for sale by owner, go for it. But if you're just trying to save a few dollars, you're going to have one heck of a headache on your hands, and you're going to be very frustrated and very confused moving through this, and you could end up getting screwed because you don't understand how to properly negotiate. Realistically, that's why you're hiring us. Yes, we know the marketing knowledge. Yes, we know, we know a lot of real estate agents that we can help sell the home, but our negotiation skills is really what we're here for. I've got tons of stories that I could tell you about negotiating and how I help my clients get the best deal when they're buying a house and or get the best deal when they're selling their house. Negotiation realistically is my favorite. I have so much fun doing that because I'm negotiating on your behalf, getting you the best deal I possibly can. The other thing, iBuyers. iBuyers are out there, and if you have not heard of this, they will come in and give you a cash offer for your house. My company that I work with, eXp Realty, we do have a cash buying program. So if that is something you're interested in and you want to know, hey, what's a cash value on my house, I can get you an instant cash value for your property. So let me know if that is something that you want. All right, so the next one, this one's a really big deal. Adding value to your house. So you're going to want to do renovations as minimal as you can for the maximum amount of value. Now, obviously, I don't know if you've heard it before, but kitchens and bathrooms sell houses. So if you're living in your house and you hate your kitchen and it is super outdated and gross, you can bet your bottom dollar that a buyer is going to think the exact same thing. So last house my wife and I bought, we actually did a complete kitchen remodel on that house. We put in new cabinets, we put in new countertops, backsplash. We got way more than our money out of that remodel. And we did flooring, we did all the walls. So if you're living let's say you have a 2002 house. What was really popular back in 2002? Oak, yellow oak. I don't know why it was popular, but that was very popular back in 2002. And if you're living in a house from the early 2000s, you know this. People do not like that in 2023. So I would highly recommend, if you're not going to replace the cabinets, at least get them painted, put in a new backsplash, maybe get some hard surface countertops, like some nice granite countertops or some quartz countertops. Those kind of projects really are going to go a very long ways for your house. Now, depending on the area you're in is dictated on how much of the value you're going to get out of doing those projects. If you're in the higher end price point here in West Michigan and you have a super outdated kitchen, I can guarantee you are not going to get the amount of money for your house that you're expecting. And this is because that buyer is very savvy, and the fact that if they're paying $600,000-$700,000 for a house, they want it to be updated. The days of putting these super outdated houses on the market and getting full market value out of them are over. Like those times are gone. I am getting deals for my clients left and right. So Start thinking about some stuff that you can do to your house to update the house. And if you want ideas on this, throw it down in the comment section, or email me, or you can text me. I can go over to your house and I can let you know some stuff that you can do, even if you're not looking at selling for 4 or 5 years, but maybe you want to save up for some of these upgrades, and I can let you know kind of, there's a couple different calculators out there that we can tell you like, hey, do X, Y, and Z to your house, and you're going to get X, Y, and Z value back out of that stuff. And the last point I want to go over today is negotiating the best offer on your house, because we don't always go with the highest offer. We really want to pick apart the offers that we're getting on your house to make sure that we're choosing the right one. Especially in these hotter markets when we go into springtime, especially here in West Michigan. Currently, I am seeing some multiple offers on multiple different properties. If they're priced correctly, they have the right updates, we are still seeing great demand for that property. So maybe even think about if you're in your house, going back to the other point, and your house is not super updated and it's got some stuff that it needs, start working on that stuff right now if you're thinking about selling, because I promise you it's going to go a very long ways for your house. So, financial contingencies, home sale contingencies, inspection contingencies. This is all stuff that we're going to negotiate to get the best deal for you on selling your house. When we're in these hot markets, like I feel like it's going to end up being this spring, there is a lot of stuff we can play with to sweeten the deal, to ask buyers to sweeten the deal when purchasing a house. If we can get the buyers to waive the inspections, this is going to help out a lot, because they're not going to be able to ask you for repairs on the house. They can still get an inspection. They just can't do anything with it. So that is going to save you money there. The other thing with an offer, if we get multiple offers on the property, and let's say that we have one of the offers that's sky high on purchase price, and then we've got one that's, a little bit above, maybe $10,000 above market value, and maybe they have an appraisal guarantee, and they're guaranteeing that you will get that $10,000 extra for your house. But we've got this other guy over here that does not have an appraisal guarantee, and they have offered $30,000 over. What they're doing is they're trying to buy the offer, meaning they're trying to put in such a high offer on the house that it just gets you all googly-eyed over their offer for you to accept it. And then they beat us down when we get the appraisal. I'm going to look at all of this stuff. I probably would not advise you to take that high offer, because especially if we know it's not going to appraise. Now, if we think it's going to appraise, yeah, let's go ahead and gamble on it and go take it. But I'm probably still going to recommend that we take the offer that has the appraisal guarantee. There's so many different things in here that we can monkey with and ask the buyers. Because if a buyer puts an offer in, especially even in multiple offers, you're the seller. You can say, okay, that one's out, that one's out, that one's out. I want to counter offer this one. You can absolutely do that. There's a lot of different strategies we can use when counter offering that highest offer and making a certain time period that they have to answer us, so that if they don't accept our counter, we can accept another offer. So lots of different things there. That is the power of, remember back in the beginning of this video, I talked about for sale by owner. When you use a real estate agent that has as much experience as I do, we've been through a lot of this stuff, and we can help really negotiate and handle a lot of this stuff and advise you correctly. So there you have it. There are 7 different ways to sell your house for the maximum amount of money. I want to know what your thoughts are down in the comment section. I really appreciate you sticking to the end of this video. If you don't know me yet, my name is Kevin Irwin. I'm a local real estate agent here in the West Michigan area. If this is your very first time to the channel, I go over anything and everything that has to do with selling, buying, or investing in real estate. So make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit that little bell notification so you get notified every time I put a video out. I do like making these videos, but I love helping you buy, sell, or invest here in West Michigan way more. So do not hesitate to reach out to me. You can call me, you can text me, you can email me, you can even send the pigeon carrier. Whatever you have to do, I have your back when it comes to making a move here in West Michigan. If you're ready to get going right away, my number is down in the description, along with a Calendly link. You can set up a time with me. We can meet, we can have coffee, we can have lunch, whatever you need. I have your back when it comes to making a move here in West Michigan. So have a great day. We'll see you in the next video.